as far as online being an access increase for people, I think that has to be a good thing. The one thing that I do think is really telling, though, is the trend is not increasing that much. And if you are a grocer, especially in a small town, and are worried about being replaced by an online service, the message seems to be from the trend watchers that instead of being concerned about online taking your sales, what is it about your store, your experience, that really will continue to pull people into your store?
The Food Marketing Institute estimates online grocery sales will reach some $100 billion by 2025. That's about 20% of the grocery retail market, which today is only about 2 to 4%. While there's no doubt that online grocery shopping is a growth market, there are also opportunities for brick-and-mortar stores to make the in-store grocery shopping experience better. On today's Sound Living, meeting the grocery shopping demands of consumers. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman. A survey conducted by the International Food Information Council Foundation in collaboration with AARP Foundation shows the number of Americans over 50 who are online grocery shopping is relatively low, with only 17% ever having ordered groceries to be picked up and 16% ever having ordered groceries to be delivered. The survey found a vast majority of older consumers prefer to shop in person at supermarkets, superstores, and warehouse discount clubs. K-State Research and Extension Nutrition Specialist Sandy Procter says that consumers may always want a mix of online and in-person grocery shopping options. Sandy, we often talk about nutrition, the benefits of nutrition, but we also realize that in some instances, just the access to food that is nutritional can be a challenge.
Food access is really a big part of the overall health picture for everyone, no matter what your social status, your economic status. The access to healthful food is a big question and a big concern for everybody.
Some of this is food deserts that exist not only across Kansas but across the country. Another is just mobility itself for some people.
You know, that's a big part of the aging process particularly, and especially in a state like Kansas where we know that a large part of our population is aging, that access becomes even a greater issue. Where you may be in a town with a grocery store, but if you no longer drive or you are no longer able to manage a grocery sack or two, those issues can be a real concern and a real player in the whole picture of nutritional health.
I'm one of those who likes to go to the grocery store. There are others who prefer to use the online shopping method. And that's something that grocery stores are starting to pay more attention to, but at the same time, it's something that really is not fully catching on yet.
You know, it's really interesting. It seems that, according to what I've read in some of the studies that have been done, it's a really evolving kind of new sort of trend. But it does seem that while people are quite okay with ordering clothes and shoes and books and all sorts of retail things online, and much to the concern of the brick-and-mortar stores, it doesn't seem to be catching on the same way with groceries.
And this is especially true for older populations, those, I think, 50 and over, according to the study?
Yes, and one of the things that was interesting about that was not that they were not able to do online shopping. In fact, they online shopped for other things, but they preferred the hands-on, face-to-face confrontation with their food and their food sources.
And it's somewhat understandable when it comes to some of those items that have a short shelf life, like the meats, the dairy, the produce.
Well, and I know for one that I'm sort of a creature of habit, and I prefer knowing maybe the brands, and I want to read the label, and I was extremely excited to read that one of the reasons that particularly older shoppers or shoppers who didn't want to shop online or have someone else do their shopping for them through an online service said that it was because they wanted to be able to read the label and look at those nutrition facts themselves, which is really what we as people in nutrition ask for all consumers to be aware of. One of the things that I didn't see addressed in this, but I would think it would play into that, is as we maybe are not in that prime age group of, say, 30 to 50 that they're saying is really the ones that are using this, and males, I think, is the other demographic, we have a little maybe more time to spend at the store. This is a personal preference coming through. In the parking lot, which seems to me, if I were driven to have to buy groceries online, it would be to avoid some of the store issues more than the food issues. But some of those things that really affect people's buying experience are key to the decision. And so if you have more time, it may be more of a desire for you to spend your time in the store as opposed to let's get it done, let's do it online, and let's just make it happen and move on.
I'm one of those early risers, so for me it's always a weekend trip, and it's just something that I do. It's part of my schedule. I know what day I'm going to go to the store. I can look at stuff online and look at the circular, find out what I want, and it's still a relatively quick process for me.
You know, it's part of the process for people when they are mentally writing menus or if they actually put them down on paper and then they go and shop for them. But you learn about new products. You see seasonality, change of items. You know, it's amazing to me the things that you see in grocery stores that really aren't groceries, but they certainly hark the season, whether it's back to school items or your first spying of Christmas candy in October. Some of those things, I think, are part of the reason that we go. And we know that stores really embrace the social aspect of shopping as well. But what this research really is saying is that this online shopping is really not moving as quickly as people who watch the trends might have anticipated. And their note to retailers, the folks who actually run the regular grocery stores and are worried about this trend sort of taking over their physical building, is don't overlook the opportunity in your own store aisles to make that in-store grocery shopping experience even better.
I think that's what people want. They want that experience, but they want it to be, like you were saying, a good experience.
I think that is really important, and that's why you go early in the morning to avoid the crowds. That's why there's a coffee shop in almost every grocery store you go into now, and the little cutout in your cart that your cup fits right into. It's to make it a real experience. If you have to go, let's make it enjoyable.
And places where you can get a hot meal if that's what you're looking for and you want to take it home.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You know, it's got an opportunity for, like you said, hot meal to take home, an in-store cafe. The opportunities seem to be widening and broadening on the in-store options as well as online or phone in. There's a lot of different varieties, that online shopping and delivery, or simply, you know, getting groceries delivered. There's kind of a continuum of services that are starting to be provided even in some of the rural areas.
Probably not a surprise to you, but there are differences between how men shop and how women shop and how they look at things and things that they're willing to pay more for, things they're willing to pay less for, and all of that factors into this too.
Well, it does, and folks who watch trends are very aware of who they are reaching through which avenues of service. And no, it's not a surprise to me. I've been married long enough to know that, holy cow, people do not shop the same. And the things that are important to one shopper don't even register maybe with somebody in the same household. So I think it's really fascinating to read about and understand what some of these trends are that are really affecting the entire market.
I guess I have kind of from both ends of the spectrum. I have a 26-year-old son who orders his groceries online but picks them up. I have a mother-in-law who is in her 80s who has her daughters order food and it's delivered to her house. It seems to work for both of them, although it's something that I haven't adopted yet. But there are people who this really does fit.
Well, it really does meet some either real or perceived needs, I think, for a wide variety of shoppers. And for starters, there's a group of young people who are used to shopping online. They're used to doing everything practically in the comfort of their own home and at 2 a.m. if they want to. And so it makes sense for them. They aren't one to be necessarily bound by conventional store hours or access or even want to buck traffic one more time to get to the store. And then we have the other end of the continuum, like you mentioned, your mother-in-law and a lot of the aging population where somewhere along the line, having groceries delivered may really feel a need for them, but there still seems to be a real strong sense of, I want to know what products I'm getting. I want to be able to specify brand and to look those things over. And I noticed with the opportunity to have groceries delivered, you can send groceries back. There's options for making it as close to perfect as it possibly could be.
And I guess if we look at it historically, there were times when they brought milk to the back door. The grocery store did sometimes deliver to your house. So it's not totally a new concept.
No, it isn't. I think it's just when you think about sometimes where it's coming from. In some cases, it actually is a local store making deliveries. In some cases, it's Amazon delivering groceries to your door just like they would a new textbook or a pair of shoes. And their recent partnering with Whole Foods shows that they're very serious about this, and they're looking for that higher-end customer who may feel that online shopping is the way that they want to accomplish business.
As an extension specialist and a nutrition specialist, what are some of the challenges that you see for your profession moving forward? And what can Extension do to maybe, ease this transition, which does appear to be happening maybe slower than expected, but does seem to be happening?
Well, I think the more informed we are about food and the more used we are to looking at food labels and really knowing what it is that we want to buy will help us as consumers, whether we're buying online or whether we're buying in person. And so I think continuing to help people understand and learn about food choices and variety in their diets is really important. If an online shopping experience is maybe part of the mix, like some of the time the shopping is online and sometimes it's in person, the actual happening of dietitians in grocery stores is really trending to help people make those in-store decisions and to help them make food choices that are good for a diabetic diet and to help them understand which foods are higher in fiber to address a need that they've been told to look into. So, there's lots of nutrition-related possibilities happening around groceries and grocery stores, and I think that is a sign of real improvement. We're moving in the right direction as long as consumers continue to make sure that they learn more about the food they eat. It's a good thing. But as far as online being an access increase for people, I think that has to be a good thing. The one thing that I do think is really telling, though, is the trend is not increasing that much. And if you are a grocer, especially in a small town, and are worried about being replaced by an online service, the message seems to be from the trend watchers that instead of being concerned about online taking your sales, what is it about your store, your experience that really will continue to pull people into your store? And I think that's the real key, especially in some of these small town grocery stores where the relationships are so strong. And the things that are offered in grocery stores, it may not just be a small town grocery store, but it's the social hub of the entire little town. Those things are going to far outweigh some of the other benefits that might be had online.
And you're never going to get that free sample online. You're never going to get to taste this week's cheese or sausage, are you?
That's right. That's right. And it's hard to know what new products are out there or, what new kind of produce is there if you go online and have in mind what it is already you're going to buy. So it could be that a blend of in-store shopping and online shopping might be the most advantageous for some people. I think it's a way to really assist, but at least at this point, it's not replacing in-store shopping for most people.
That's K-State Research and Extension Nutrition Specialist Sandy Procter. More health and nutrition information is available at county and district extension offices and online through the Extension website, www.ksre.ksu.edu. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman, and this is the K-State Radio Network.